Ponytails. Read by Scribbler.
Nope by Hoof and Quill. It seemed like this day never could really pass without something stupid happening. Hearts and Hooves Day was hardly Big Macintosh's favourite day of the year. Mac, all told, didn't bother all that much with romance. He had work to do, and any given day of the year there was more use working than there was fooling around trying to impress some mare or other. Not that he was opposed to dating, but it just wasn't in the cards for a stallion who had to carry an orchard on his back. That, and it seemed like every pony in Ponyville went completely crazy leading up to Hearts and Hooves Day. He had to keep away from any pony that wasn't kin, just to keep the increasingly desperate single mares from propositioning him just to avoid being single that day. But work was work, and Hearts and Hooves Day often found him in town anyway. This time he was hauling hay from a supplier in town back to the acres for the sheep and cows that stayed on their land. It wasn't common to see some pony loading up a wagon on a holiday like today. But it was more important to get this done than to fritter away time with some mare who'd lose the sparkle in her eye as soon as the holiday was over. That was when the little orange filly popped her head over the top of the stack of hay bales nearby and asked,
"Hey, Big Mac! Doing anything special for Hearts and Hooves Day?"
His answer came quickly, instinctively, around the sprig of wheat he often kept in his lips.
Nope.
There was no reason to lie about it. He didn't have plans, though last year he'd lost a ton of time and potential work to his sister and her friends meddling and setting him up with Cheerilee. While Cheerilee was an attractive mare, kind, intelligent, and all in all a good match, they just didn't click that way. Plus, the colour of her coat was too similar to his mother's. But maybe they'd set him up with some pony he hadn't considered this time. Instead of just ducking back behind the hay bale like last time, though, Scootaloo grinned and hopped down on the side Big Macintosh was on. Big Macintosh couldn't quite look away as Scootaloo took a few steps toward him. She kept her front end low and looked up at him with what he supposed was a look she'd seen full-grown mares make. The filly sauntered toward him in that awkward, entirely unattractive way that only children imitating adults can pull off. Big Macintosh switched the sprig of wheat to the other side of his mouth. Scootaloo finished walking towards him and then opened her eyes a bit wider, realizing she didn't quite have the next part planned out.
Really? Then maybe, we could go out somewhere.
He had to break it to her softly. He didn't want to break some poor fillies.
Nope.
Mac sighed inwardly at his tendency to speak too much too quickly. Scootaloo's face fell, and a shamed blush spread over her cheeks.
What? No? Why? Am I that ugly?
Nope.
That was true. She was cute, in a little kid sort of way, but she had the kind of features that might make for a pretty, if a little coltish mare when she grew up.
What? Is it because I'm a Pegasus? I mean, I know your whole family's aren't ponies, but...
Nope.
Scootaloo's head dipped further.
Is it because I'm the same color as Applejack? Because I know it's sort of weird, but I can dye my coat.
Nope.
Though that would be a bit weird now that he thought about it.
Then what is it? Is it because I'm too young?
Yep.
Big Macintosh hesitated a second, and then sat down fully on the ground beside Scootaloo. The little filly didn't hesitate to sit next to him, but then looked up as if just noticing how much larger a fully grown stallion, particularly Big Macintosh himself, was. Big Macintosh moved a hoof and mussed Scootaloo's mane gently. She laughed, but then sank down to the ground again.
I just want to try going out with some pony. And you're so nice and hardworking, and you're kind of handsome, you know. Not that I care and stuff like that. Apple Bloom's gonna kill me.
Nope.
Scootaloo brightened just a little.
You'll keep it a secret? Thanks, Big Mac.
She hugged him for a moment, and then settled down again.
But so what if I'm little? I'm old enough to do what I want. I know I don't have my cutie mark yet, but I'll get it. You'll see. You don't think I'm stupid just because I'm a filly.
Big Macintosh tried to find the words for what he wanted to say, but his mouth always moved faster than he wanted.
Nope.
Scootaloo leaned miserably against his shoulder.
But I guess I've still got school and everything, and I can't help on the farm. He and Apple Bloom would kill me. But maybe if I was older? Like if I had my cutie mark and was like Rainbow Dash's age?
Macintosh sighed and shook his head a bit. Maybe he'd date a pony Rainbow's age, but it wouldn't do to tell some little filly that if she was a bit older he'd go for it. This was awkward enough already. Scootaloo sighed.
So, what you're saying is that it's kind of like age is more than just a number or a cutie mark?
Yep.
That sounded like something he could agree to anyway.
And I guess I have more in common with ponies my age. Besides, I don't really want to have to work in an orchard all the time. I guess I kinda need to learn what I'm all about and get my cutie mark or whatever first. Also, it would be weird to have to learn how to fly just so I could kiss my special sun pony. You're kinda tall.
Big Macintosh chuckled and shook his head again, but answered with a
Yep.
anyway. Scootaloo stood up and hugged Big Macintosh around the withers as he leaned down so she could reach.
Thanks, Big Mac. You're a really good listener. I bet you'll find the best mare ever. I'm gonna wait before I date any pony. I've got plenty of time left. You're the best.
Big Macintosh stood up again and ruffled Scootaloo's mane again. She laughed and jumped away.
Okay, I get it. I'm gonna go find the other Crusaders. Thanks again, Big Mac.
Yep.
He watched the little filly gallop away and shook his head. He set himself back to work, loading the hay into the wagon and trying his best to forget the whole awkward situation. Sure, he had a way with words sometimes, and sure, it all worked out in the end. But next Hearts and Hooves Day, he was just going to stay home. It just seemed like this day never could pass without something stupid happening. That was Nope. It was written by Hoof and Quill and read by Scribbler with special guest voice actors BlackIrisBalloon as the voice of Big Mac and Jennabun as the voice of Scootaloo. Okay, thank you very much for listening. Yeah, this fic should have come out at the weekend, except that I was snowed under with various different bits of work, and to be honest, it probably wouldn't have come out today even. Except that I have had to stay home from work because I very badly sprained my ankle. I was walking the dog last night, and just as we got out of our driveway, she spotted another bunch of dogs who were walking towards us, and I didn't spot them in time. And she took off into the road, and pulling her backwards, my leg folded under me like a wet noodle, and I've sprained all my ankle on one side, so that's quite painful. Although I'm going back to work tomorrow, so positive thinking. But anyway, the fact that I am at home means that I can record this end bit and upload this today, which otherwise probably wouldn't have happened. Thank you very much to BlackIrisBalloon and Jennabun for voicing Big Mac and Scootaloo in this one. BlackIrisBalloon is actually, he's just launched his Patreon. He lost his job recently, very unexpectedly, as in he went in one day and found out that he and a bunch of other people had been laid off. So he set up his Patreon, and if anyone would like to go along and make a one-off donation or sign up for being his patron, by all means go and do so. And Jennabun, wow, Jennabun again. Jennabun is appearing in quite a lot of my projects recently because she's got such a highly adaptable voice. So go and check out her channel because she has quite a lot of things on her channel too. What else? I'm beginning to think I'm talking incredibly fast because the painkillers I've taken have got caffeine in them, and that's only just occurred to me that that's perhaps why I'm talking quite quickly, and why I'm running out of things to say before my brain can replace them, for my mouth to speak them. Yes, so this is the next instalment in Month of LURVE. This is only my second instalment, but by my count, because I'm keeping the official playlist of this, so if you go to my channel, the Month of LURVE playlist is listed under playlists, funnily enough. And at this point, I think it's 22 uploads deep, and it's only been going for, 10 days at this point? What's the date today? 10 days. 10 days of uploads, and 22 different things on there from various different people. So go and have a look. Subscribe to the people who've contributed. There's some names on there whom I've mentioned before on this channel. There's some people who are brand new to collaborations and things. BlackIrisBalloon is actually on there. I collaborated with him playing Luna in a Kilala, I think it is, the Next Generation of Ponies series of art pieces and comics on DeviantArt. I think it's called Collaborators. And I collaborated with him playing Luna in Hello There. So if you'd like to go along and hear that one, I think actually Collaborators appears in another comic dub that's on the list by somebody whom I don't think I've mentioned him before, Brony with the bow tie. He played Spike in the Spike and Twilight Kiss comic that I put out last June. But he's collaborated with a new VA called Cassie Pony, and they're both on the list. So by all means, go and check out the list. Enjoy Month of LURVE. There'll be something coming out again this weekend in time for Valentine's Day, and I will see you all then. I think I need to go and work off this caffeine now. Oh, although not too much because of bloody ankle. Right, okay. Be lovely to each other, and good night, everybody.